Scotty Silver for iFeel TV in association with MTK Global.
I have television, not those soldiers.
They love that.
I'm only joking.
They will absolutely love that. In fact, I've got to say, I did see an Eddie Hearn interview, and he was saying that he actually spoke to Shane a few days and had a good old chat, and our boxing sort of moves on as well.
I mean, look, we're just we're competition. That's all. I mean, listen, it's height the respect. They do an amazing job. They're a fantastic operation, and there's no question about that.
Yeah,
and we've got great respect for them.
Well, and that's it. And of course,
and all the stuff with Coogan and James never had a fight with Coogan, and I sort of crossed swords a few times, but
that's right.
He's a great lad.
No, give him an arm wrestle.
No, he's a great lad, and he does a good job for the game.
Yeah,
for boxing.
That's perfect. And of course, I've got to touch on like the Kelbrook fight, because you've got George Groves, fighting Chudinov. I mean, Shane's done a remarkable job in the world of training.
Yeah.
On a personal thing, early on in your career, you had that horrific time with young Ali, and of course George Groves. He's after his last fight. Is he going to be able to sort of get his head round there? I mean, have you seen him lately?
I've seen him sparring over the last couple of weeks or so. He's looking fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. Because this is his fourth crack at a world title. How do you beat Chudinov? I mean, Chudinov is a come forward monster, really, isn't he?
It's interesting. I watched him against Felix Sturm in the second fight. He comes forward, sometimes he goes back, so it's hard to predict how to fight him, because you don't know which Chudinov is going to turn up. But I don't care which one turns up, George Groves beats him. He's looking fantastic.
And of course, you're here in Lanzarote at the moment. It's your first little browse at the Champions Gym. First impressions, you've got a few boxers here today.
I mean, it's Ryan Rhodes, the great Robin Reid, and we've seen loads of guys and Big John. It's a great little setup. It's really lovely. The ring's a bit too small, and I said that to John. It wouldn't work for us at the moment, but the facilities are great. The running track's just out of the back here, so you've got everything you need, and you've got commitment, and it's very warm, and the weather's good, so it's a very attractive place to come.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, FRAMPTON at the moment is probably your number one, really, and a lot of fights like in the US. Has there been any sort of news on what is actually happening regarding like a rematch or Lee Selby?
Yeah, we're working on that, and really I've got to remain tight-lipped about that, but we're working very hard on his next fight, and we're hoping that we'll get the right one, but we have a number of alternatives as well that we're working on, so that's where we are at the minute, and that's all I can say.
Yeah, because I should imagine there'll be a few fans that are hoping one day he's going to be like back in Ireland, which of course, back in your heyday, I mean, do you miss out the old King's Hall with Dad in the ring? I don't miss
it. I mean, after all this time, Scotty, I'm out of the game a long time now, and I'm around the fighters, and I've sort of fallen into the role of a sort of a mentor. Shane does all the training with Daryl, and ably assisted by Josh Pritchard, and he puts the hours in. I sit there and watch the guys and shout bits of encouragement every now and again, and spend some time with them. And so we've got a fantastic setup in London at the moment. We've got a brand new gym in Wandsworth, and it's superb. It's great, and it's very central, and we're right beside the Wandsworth Overground station, so it couldn't be a better show.
Yeah, and touching on Shane as well, I mean, what an amazing job Shane has done. I mean, a few ups and downs, I mean, the David Hay, Tony Bennett fight, but even the ones that lost, I mean, the atmosphere and the night that was, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, look, we this game at the highest level, at the elite level, is all about margins, and we just weren't on it. Both Carl and Shane weren't they didn't get it right on the night. We didn't think he'd start to try and outbox us, and he did, and by the time we realised that he was too far ahead, he kept nicking the rounds right in the last sort of 10-15 seconds. Rounds that were close, he kept nicking them, and Carl was going back to his corner with his head down, and Shane was trying to motivate him and get him going again. And once you start to slip back like that, it's hard to get those rounds back, especially against an elite fighter like Leo Santa Cruz. But we will beat him again, there's no question about that, and FRAMPTON will definitely beat him. He beat him convincingly the first time, he'll do it again.
Yeah, I mean, you've adapted quite well with the world of promotions, with Cyclone Promotions. You've got to be happy with the progress of everything that's happened the last few years for you.
Yeah, I stay out of that. I manage the guys. I don't get involved in any of the dealings because I'm not a businessman. I'm a sort of fighter. I'm the front of house. I'm the ugly mug that sort of people remember, and so I open the doors and the boys go in and do the negotiations. And it's a learning curve. It's a steep learning curve, and it's been a baptism of fire for them in many ways because it's a new business, and it's a new. It's a new setup, and we're getting better all the time, and we've got a great deal with Channel 5, and we've got Taylor, we've got Cummings coming through, WBO middleweight champion, and he's getting better. He's turned the corner. He lost on the Edward Gutnick and George Groves fight against a German guy. I thought he beat him but didn't get it, and we asked for the rematch. He didn't want it, and so he fought for the WBO European title and knocked the guy out in 3 rounds. He's looking great. He's turned the corner. He's been sparring with George, and he's doing great. He's looking better every single day. Taylor is sensational, great kid, getting better, and you want to see the sparring sessions with him out in New York when he was training with Argencis Mendes. It was absolutely spectacular stuff to watch. World class, and so he's getting better all the time, and we're just making progress with him, and we've had another new signing which we're going to announce next week. So it's busy, and we got a show in at the end of May down in Cardiff, and then we've got the other one that George is fighting up in Sheffield. It's going to be a busy weekend, but we love it. It's great, and things are just getting better and better.
Well, Barry, I could talk to you forever. You really are an absolute legend, but we're getting the signs to get out of the gym.
We can't see them, very rude signs.
No, that's it. But just before we go, just a quick yes or no, who wins? Kell Brook, Spence, everyone's talking about it.
Oh, I think that it's much more even the fact that him and allowed the fight to go to Sheffield. Now it becomes a much more difficult fight for Spence. He's a terrific talent, but you gotta say that Brook has got a great chance at home. However, I think Spence will be the one taking the belt.
Brilliant. And on that note, Barry, enjoy the rest of your stay in
Thanks.
Nigeria.
Looking forward to it.
We've got to clear off.
Yeah, right. Better go.